Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously big green day today, as you can see. I mean, we scrolled on this thing, like everything pretty much is green across the board, up big time. You know, as we scroll down, you can see, it doesn't matter what sector it is. And what's amazing is when you see like, you know, snow, which made a huge comeback. It was down 15% yesterday, almost broke even. China, I don't believe any of the numbers coming out of China, but they had earnings today, and Bob and all of them are up huge double digits. You know, you look at the semiconductors, made a huge comeback. They were all down 5% last night. Boom, all in the green right there. You see all the big cap stocks. You see the VIX going down. You got all the indexes up huge. And so my question is, you know, or the debate I want to have with you right now is, can this sustain for 7 to 10 days? And I was thinking about that because we hadn't had a relief rally in a while. No matter how bad a market gets, I've showed you on the chart, you always have these relief rallies. We've had a few of them already since November, but we hadn't had one in weeks. And it's like looking at it. And so I thought to myself, what's been driving the market, right? And so if you have, you know, want to go the other side of this coin, you can. But as far as the team that says, yeah, I think we can have a 7 to 10 day rally, I think we actually can have one. I'm not saying it's going to happen because this market's unpredictable, but here's my argument for this. News is what's driving this market, right? I think we all agree on that. Whether it's inflation news, whether it's Fed news, whether especially earnings news, right? I can't remember the last time stocks would drop 30 to 40% just like that on a piece of news, right? Whether it's earnings or they're, you know, cutting their forecast, whatever. I mean, just be cut in half overnight, okay? Not since '08, right? But news, as soon as it hits, destroyed. Stocks get destroyed, all right? And so we're down huge over the last 7 to 8 weeks alone, let alone since November. And I thought about it, I said, wait a minute. Well, earnings is ending, right? I mean, if you know, I got like basically 4 or 5 good points to put in this thing here. But, you know, if you look right here, all the major news coming out of earnings is done at the end of this month, right? So that's a good one. Then look what happens here. CPI data, we don't have anything coming out until June 10th, right? And then look at the Fed. The Fed is not meeting again till the 14th or 15th, and they'll go into a blackout window where they won't say anything. And the one I also want to bring your attention is I came across yesterday was you got a lot more insiders buying up. When I say insiders, I mean it has to be like 100,000 shares or more than $1 million purchase. These are big block trades, okay? And as you can see on this chart, just, you know, they created here, that when they hit this line at the bottom, usually it means you're going to get a rally, whether it's a small, big, whatever it is. And, you know, we just go across all the way from the 90s all the way here. And you can see some of them are false breakouts, but some of them, most of them are breakouts, right? And this is when they see that line getting hit to where you see the shift in these big block trading going from sales to buys, right? That right there I'm on right now is just absolutely the worst indicator because it felt like, you know, you see the pop go up, but then it just dropped like a massive rock. But you see how far below the line it can get, all right? And then when you, of course, look at the rest of them, you know, rally, 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 and then, of course, oh, where are we at now? We're at that line again. Again, we can fall through it, but, you know, that signals there might be a short-term type rally. And what they're talking about here, they'll give you, you know, I can go through a bunch of these, but just going through some of them, as you can see, going around the tip range, look at Coinbase, right? It's been absolutely obliterated. What's happening now? Informative buys are happening. You know, over the last 8 to 10 days, you know, you got a director, it must be nice to have this kind of money, buying $75 million worth of the stock. You look at Home Depot, you know, totally different sector. We're going to go through a bunch of different sectors. You know, you got an EVP buying $1.5 million worth of the stock. You got another one buying $431,000, another buying $25,000. You know, and you can look at right here. Boom, a director for this stock buying almost $2 million worth, which is just insane. SoFi, FinTech's been absolutely hammered and obliterated. You know, all of a sudden you see the CEO and directors, you know, they're buying thousands of dollars worth of this stock just over the last couple of weeks. And then Shopify is the interesting one because after the earnings, the blackout window ended, you had a whole bunch of informative buys going on, right? I mean, millions of dollars. $10 million the CEO did. President bought $1 million. Chief executive officer bought $1 million. So just a bunch of it. And then all of a sudden, what happened is switched. You start having a lot of informative sales, but nowhere near as many. I mean, 50,000, 57,000, 43,000. So the buys far outweigh the sales right here. And if that wasn't enough, just look at the record amount of shorts we have right now. And the NASDAQ is shorted by 16.4%. Look at that. That is way higher than even 2008, and obviously 2018, 2020 wasn't even close to the amount of shorts we have right now, which is what I'm talking about when I say you see days like today, they're buying back shares. Whether or not that means we're going to continue, I don't know. And as we switch to the charts, let's look what the S&P did today, right? We end up having this downward trend line. We had touched it 4 times, boom, broke through it. Now we're at a key level there. And then going over to the NASDAQ 100, look what happened yesterday. Filled the gap. Then today broke through through a key level of 12,000. And then look what's right above it, a gap. Remember, 90% of gaps fill. And then you look at that one, that gap's been filled, that gap's been filled, this gap's been filled. And then when you look above that, what do you got again? Another gap that hasn't been filled. And if you look at what kind of move it is, it's not a big move at all. I mean, you're talking about around a 9.5% move. We did a 3% move today, guys. We've seen it multiple times. And even to get up to break out of this, downward channel we've been in, that's only 13%. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Matter of fact, I'd actually say, look at this channel, I need to move it down so we have more touch points, and we'll just call that one a false breakout. And you can see it's only a 10% move from there. And I'm not even saying we're going to do that, but you see how far down this channel we are. And again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you get something out of this, guys. And then the last thing is just how oversold we were on the daily. Like, we finally came up, but it's not easy to get oversold. When you do that, usually means you're going to get bounced. The MACD is finally crossing over. But as you can see, whenever you get this far oversold, and obviously this can be a fake out by the MACD, as you see right here, it can absolutely fake us out. But usually when you get that oversold, you're going to get a bounce. That's just the way it is, right? And as many weeks as we've been oversold, we were due, and it shows you how hard it is to actually get oversold. It took this many weeks to do it, especially on the S&P, which, obviously accounts, again, for like the whole market. And, then you look on the weekly, and look at that right there. Finally hit oversold last week, finally. And I'm telling you, it's hard on the weekly to get oversold. Look at this. The last time we were oversold on the weekly was the 2020 crash. And before that, you go back, you got 2018 crash, right? It's not easy to get oversold on the weekly, but we finally hit it. And of course, you keep going back, you'll find, I think it's like 2011, I believe it is. We had a big sell-off, and then 2008, and then the dot-com bubble. Of course, we were obviously way oversold during those time frames. And, but I'm just saying, for a short term, because you can get a bounce, and all of a sudden it keeps getting oversold like you see in '08 as we continue to crash and burn. And then flipping to the NASDAQ, you got the exact same picture, right? You got on the weekly, oversold there, oversold 2020, oversold 2018. So same thing, dot-com, '08, all that fun stuff. And so that will be my argument in the camp to say, why can't we get a 7 to 10 day rally? I mean, if you can think of something that's supposed to be happening, that that's scheduled to come out, that should absolutely spook the market. We know inflation sucks, right? We know ad revenue sucks. We know all the companies already got it down, and they've been punished severely for it already, right? And so when I look at that, and I got, the Fed should start to keep their mouth shut until their meeting comes up. I got no CPI data coming out to the 10th. Okay, the day is what, the 26th or 7th, something like that. So 2 weeks out on that. I got no more big earnings coming up that should move the markets at all whatsoever. And, what else? What else is on? Am I missing something? And I got all these oversold indicators saying, yeah, we're oversold. The fear ingredient X is in the toilet. There's all this stuff. And on top of that, I showed you, when is the last time we sold off 7 weeks? Go back to the dot-com bubble. Here's the kicker. When is the last time we sold off for 8 weeks? You know when it was? I actually went and looked this up. On the S&P, it was all the way back to 1970, before I was even born, for God's sakes. That's how hard it is to get sold off this many weeks. 1970. And shockingly, on the NASDAQ, I couldn't find one where we actually sold off 8 weeks in a row. There was at least one green week in there somewhere. Okay? But again, back to the 70s for the S&P. That's how hard it is. Right now, we're green. But I don't really give a crap about 1 green week or 3 green days or whatever it is. What I want to see is there going to be a 7 to 10 day, run up before we start to sell back off, or 2 weeks or whatever it is. And to me, I'm just putting facts and data out there where you can see it and say, okay, that maybe we do, right? And I'm just curious to get your thoughts on that. What do you know is coming out? What do you think is going to continue to push these markets down week after week until we get to that Fed meeting, until we get to that CPI data and all that stuff? Now, as far as in my humble opinion, I think we've hit the bottom. Absolutely, I don't think we have at all, because we're just getting ready to start rolling off the balance sheet from the Fed. But what's scary is, when you look at this chart, I was really shocked when I saw this chart and thought, man, that's how far we can fall. Like that, I was just stunned to to see where we are at right now as far as being oversold. Now, what I'm talking about here, I think this is either 40-week EMA or the 40-month EMA, one of the two. That, the Nasdaq's already hit it, right? And it's bounced off of it from 2020, 2018, 2016, 2011. Like, it absolutely loves this EMA, okay? But didn't matter, it seems, okay? It continued to sell through it. You see, this is the monthly, of course, and so, obviously, MACD is already rolled over. But look at the RSI. We are just breaking 2020 and 2018. Look how far down the monthly. It's really hard to get sold all the way down into oversold territory on the monthly. Not even the .com bubble reached the 30 or below. Can you believe that? Not even the .com bubble reached it. But 2008 and 9 did, all right? But if you look at where we're at right now, we are way far from hitting it, okay? On the NASDAQ, wait till we get to the SPY. That's even more shocking. And if you're curious to see exactly how far we are away, if we were to go all the way into oversold territory on the monthly, all we got to do is go up here and see exactly where we're at now, which is about right here is where we're at now. And if we just go up there and measure this right here, and it's okay, how much farther we would have to drop to get into oversold territory? We're talking about another 29% from where we're at right now. And on the S&P, what's even crazier, and this is my argument the whole time, look at this. We aren't even as oversold as we were in 2020 or even 2018, for crying out loud, when we crashed. We're not even there yet on the S&P. It ain't reached a halfway point, which is just nuts, anywhere near that 40-week EMA. But when we scroll back, you can see we got oversold in 2008. We even got oversold in the .com bubble. That's why I was surprised to see the NASDAQ didn't get oversold, which is just nuts to me, but it did not. And you see where we're at. I mean, that can be an enormous drop. And if we just do the same thing and we look at this, I can kind of see where these forecasters are getting this from. But that's where we're at now, okay? Nowhere near oversold. And to get to oversold, the S&P would have to drop 28% from where it's at now, which would put it down about 45% for the year, which, you got a lot of people out there calling for that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it certainly ain't going to happen right now just because of what's going on with utility, oil and gas, and transport stocks that are on the S&P. They're setting all-time new highs. Some of them set 52-week new highs today. Okay, they are so overstretched, so far over their 300-day moving average. Most of them are. It's insane, and we're going into summer. So why would that stop? Honestly, I don't know why that would stop when demand should be picking up, right? Because we get into traveling season, the busiest season, so we're all going to be on plane, trains, automobiles, cruise ships, you name it. I think that's what's going to be happening, RVs. And so, we'll see how that plays out. But, let me know your thoughts on that part. When I'm looking at that, I'm like, oof. Yeah, I mean, that could be really rough. It's been a long time since we've been oversold in that chart. And again, it happens every 10 to 12 years, so we'll see if we're heading there again. The reason why I truly believe we can get there is because I can't even think. I'm starting to think today when the last time the stock market or even our economy was able to prop itself up without government intervention, right? And I mean, when's the last time we had rates at 2% or higher for a long period of time without crashing the market? I don't know. I have to go back and look. I can't remember. Let me know if you can remember. Because every time we get there, it seems to crash. But our government stimulus checks or extra tax breaks or something like that. And so, that's really why I believe we can get there. But the other thing is, what I don't know is if the oil and gas stocks and transport stocks all roll over, right, and start to crash and burn, and what does that mean? That means those costs are coming down. Well, shouldn't that help the economy? Shouldn't that help us, the consumer? Shouldn't that help tech stocks and everything else? I mean, wouldn't it help in that way? So in a way, can you see, because that money, if it's crashing and burning, that means people are taking profits, a lot of profits, then they would be rotating into something else. So that's another argument. Where are they going to rotate the money to? That's another question. So I can also see the camp where they say, we ain't going down like an '08 or even .com bubble because of that. We're just in a different time with inflation and everything else. And so, I don't know. I can be in both camps, actually. So I just know looking at those charts, oof, man, that's a long way down. If we do go there, that is a long way down. But again, if you got any data showing, why we shouldn't move up the next 7 to 10, maybe 14 days, let me know down there. I don't see why we shouldn't. And if we don't, we don't. But, I'm just saying, I enjoy the green day today. I would enjoy 7-10 green days. That would be nice. You know, and so just curious. I like to put the debate out there. I love a good debate from you guys. I mean, because people from all around the world obviously watch YouTube, and it's always good to get different inputs, different opinions and stuff. So anyway, hope you got something out of the video. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did. I really appreciate that, and I'll see you guys later.